again with another Formers Fridays. Just so we know right off the bat, this episode is getting filmed after a bunch of other episodes that I've already prepped up. But I felt this one had to be put in because I've got a lot of stuff coming, and it's supposed to get generally higher and higher and higher in awesomeness. And this would fit somewhere in the middle, and the way it's all set up, it feels weird to cut it and slice it in the middle of everything else. So we're going to put it right in front of everything, and then you'll see what things are coming up starting next week. But for today, we're getting right into Titan's Return. And 90% of the stuff you're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks will be Titan's Return stuff. With, I think, one exception. But today, we're going to take a look at something kind of fun. We're going to take a look at the blood and guts of this toy line, this subsection of this toy line, the Headmaster version of this. We've got Hardhead and Skullsmasher, which used to be called Skullcruncher, and that kind of confuses the hell out of me. Why is smashing better than crunching? Maybe it just sounds better. I don't know. I don't care. He will always be Skullcruncher to me, because I originally owned this figure back in the G1 days, but sadly, in the whole, you're an adult now, you need to throw out your kids' stuff, that's my mom talking to me, it was gone. I had to lose 90% of my childhood because there was no room for it. I lost, like, 99% of my Ninja Turtles. The one thing they let me hold on to was my He-Man stuff, but sadly, most of that stuff's gone too, because I needed money. But you're not here for my sob story. We're here for Formers Fridays, so let's get right into it with Hardhead and Skullsmasher. Skullcruncher. No Skullsmasher. Okay guys, this is Hardhead and Skullcruncher. What I really love about these things is that the Headmasters actually have a place to go. And I feel like it's one of the greatest things about Transformers is you have little riders now. So the Headmasters double as passengers for the vehicles, which they did also in the original run. But I'm getting this feeling that Hasbro is going to try to stick with this model for a little while. Because we've got a lot of Headmaster or Titan's Return stuff coming out in the future. And it just seems to make sense to have vehicles with cockpits and stuff, so like you can have riders inside them. The only thing I hope is that they actually look into actually making humanoid characters and not just Headmaster characters, which I doubt will happen, but it would be nice. So, like I said, we're gonna move the heads for now. So we got Hardhead and Skullcruncher, and like I said, I had Skullcruncher back in the day. His actual name for this toy line is Skullsmasher, but I'm calling him Skullcruncher. But the thing about Skullcruncher is, we don't get too many animal characters, and this is a character I had back in the day, and I'm so happy to have him. And he fits, like, he seems like he would be a really cool robot gator, and at the same time, he's very, very reminiscent of the G1 counterpart. Like, he transforms almost the exact same way. The arms are a little different, but it works. It makes sense. Even the tail goes in the same spot, and they've actually got the gun worked into the back, so he's actually wielding two weapons instead of one. And the thing with Hardhead over here that I like a lot is that there's this little canopy that folds back when it wants to, and you can fit another Headmaster in there to work this second gun. And I really like how it moves up and is movable like that. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on with these figures, and I love it so much. The only problem I really do have is with Skullcruncher. His canopy for his little cockpit is a rubbery material, and it seems to have warped to a point where it doesn't want to stay shut. And that's kind of irritating to me. But other than that, they're awesome. I love them. Can't get enough of them. I can't wait to get the other ones. But that's it for them in vehicle mode. Let's take a look at their robot mode.
New Transformers. Transformers are here. Incredible new Headmasters, and the driver of the vehicle becomes the head of the robot.
Headmaster Transformers, they've got the power to surprise.
And when the head enters the robot's body, you get a readout of its power.
And our new Decepticon Headmasters will give us more brain power than ever. Transform, you monsters, and prepare to attack!
Headmaster Transformers, they've got the power to surprise.
Each sold separately.
Transform!
They are in robot form. We've got Skullcruncher and Hardhead, and I love these guys so much. They're everything Headmasters should be, with one massive exception. The original Headmasters had a kind of gimmicky thing, but I always loved it, and it seemed to make sense. They used to have, you can see in Hardhead's chest plate, the gray piece on his chest plate, and the white spot on Skullcruncher's chest plate. Those would flap open, and you could see a readout of their strength, speed, and stamina, I think were the big ones. And they would be empty when there's no Headmaster in there. But when you put a Headmaster in there, it would show out the readout. And you could switch heads to get different readouts. Well, they've replaced that with just the paint application and sculpt. Those don't come out, and you can read that on the little trading cards that they come with. But guess what? In the time where I was waiting for Dirt's camera to show up, which is in no way his fault, he's the greatest guy in the world for giving me a camera. I can't thank that man enough for helping me out. In that time, I had gotten these figures before I knew I was getting the camera, so I had to wait a couple weeks before I could get it. And in that time, I lost the cards. So I don't even remember what it was, their stats were, and there's no way to look it up. Well, there's a way to look it up, I guess, if I looked online, you know, but it's just disappointing. It was a really awesome feature in the old days, but honestly, I could see where it's not really cost-effective right nowadays to do that. But it was a great idea, and I wish it was something that could have made it back. But for what we're getting, I'm happy with what we got. I love the possibility of Hardhead's cannon, and it's still got that flap, which I'm not going to mess with. So you can actually put another Headmaster in there while he's in robot mode. And Skullcruncher's head, I should have brought this up when he was in beast mode. It's on a ball joint. And when I got the figure, he was packaged in a way where the head was not connected. The gator head. And you had to put it back on. But once it's on, I'm pretty sure it can be removed again, but there's no need to. And I like it better with it off, or with it on, in robot mode. I just think it's a great extra to a really great figure. But that's Hardhead and Skullcruncher, and I enjoy them so much. And there's little hints here and there where other weapons or figures could go. Now, I have to look it up to be sure where and how it's meant to work, but we've got a hole here, we've got a hole here, and we've got a hole on the top of his cannon here. And obviously these guys can hold weapons if they don't want to, or if they want to. And I don't know what that means. Maybe we'll find out next week. But in conclusion, I love these figures so much, and I can't wait to get more. Well, guys, that was Hardhead and Skullsmasher. Cruncher, we're going Cruncher. I'm tired, can you tell? Anyway, starting next week, we're going to take a look at the other stuff that I had originally planned to start showing off this week, but scheduling is weird. But next week, we're going to be taking a look at some of the Titan Masters, I think they're called. The little mini Headmaster guys that don't really have bodies, they just have little tiny vehicles that are meant to be basically head switchers for other figures. I think it's Crash Bash, Terrible, two other, I don't know. There's 4 of them. We'll take a look at them next week. You'll see what I'm talking about. Until then, if you want to check out the website where we've got a whole bunch of other reviews on toys, comics, games, all that fun stuff, check out the popculturenetwork.com. If you want to talk to myself, Dirt, Killin, anybody who enjoys these reviews, wanted to do their own, or just love talking about toys, comics, and etc., go check us out on jointheforums.com. If you have an idea for the show, or any of the shows on the Pop Culture Network, or even on my own show, please give us a call on the 24-hour hotline. It's always on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I swear to God, I really knew that. I'm just trying to be funny. Please leave us a recording and let us know what you would like to see on the show. I would love to hear your comments and suggestions. And if you want to get in touch with Dirt, you can find him on Twitter. And I think that's it. So, this is the Geek for the Pop Culture Network saying, good journey.